Today's quick lesson, we're going to talk about setting up your website for your portfolio for the CM102 class. In this class, all of the work you do for photography, videography, Photoshop work, you're going to be presenting it on the website. So the first thing we need to do is create your website. We're going to be using a service called Weebly.com. Here you will be able to set up a free website to post all of your work to. So first things first, once you go to Weebly.com in the browser of your choice, I prefer Chrome, just my preference. You can go over here to the sign up on the top right. And now they actually make it kind of easy because you can sign up with your Facebook or Google account, or you can put your own name, email address, and password. Personally, I recommend using your Google account if you have one, and if you don't, I think you should make a Google account anyways. This way you don't have to worry about saving another password. Whichever way you choose, go ahead and fill out the form. Now I already have an account, so I'm going to go ahead and sign in. So this is what the login screen is going to look like later on. Weebly constantly updates their software, so sometimes you might see a different screen to start with. In this case, it's asking if I sell anything online to create some sort of online store. I'm just going to go ahead and click the Not Now button because we're not interested in that. We just want to get to the site creation part. So once we get here, we get to a page where we can select a theme. Now you see they have different categories such as business, portfolio, personal, event, blog, and other. And they have some favorites in those themes. So we could say we're going to create a portfolio page, for instance, and you'll see there's different options to go through. And you can click on any one of these to preview what that's going to look like and say, maybe this is one I want to work with. Or you can go back and choose another one. I'm not going to be picky right now. I'm just going to choose one to get into one. Now remember, all of the photos and text that are currently on these templates, you are going to be removing these. That's going to be one of the first things we do because we want to start with a very fresh page. So I'm just going to click on the first one here. I'm going to say, sure, let's start editing this one. So right here, it's creating my site. And now it's prompting me to choose a domain for my website. Now, the domain is the address that people go to get to your website. If you want to go ahead and pay for something, that's where you use the registered domain. But right now, we're going to keep it simple with something that's free. So go ahead and click on the first one. And right here, you're going to just put your first and last name. And then, boom, it's going to show you that it's available or not. And once you do that, you can hit continue. Now on this one right here, you can see it has a portfolio with spaces in it and everything. I'm going to start, like I said, let's start off with a clean slate. So I'm just going to go ahead and I can delete all of these. See, these are just images that were put up there. I can actually go up here to the top where it says pages, and I could just delete. So on the left side here, once I click pages, you'll see it has the list of the pages. These correspond with the names up here. I'm just going to click on the contact page. I'm just going to hit delete. It's going to make sure I want to do that. I confirm. And now that page is gone, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. So let's go ahead. I'm actually going to leave these pages for right now. We're not going to use all of them just yet, but let's add a page. So one of the first things that you're going to need is a blog page on your website because one of the first assignments is going to be a blog. Now there are different types of pages. A blog page and a regular page are not the same thing. So when I click the plus button here, so make sure I'm on the Pages tab, I'm going to click the plus button. And now I see I have standard page, blog page, external page. This means if I make that, it will go to another website, or I can make a menu. So I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to select blog page right now. And now we have a blog. So now I have a home page, an about page, and a blog page. And again, you can see it starts off by putting something here. Now what you're seeing here is not a picture that I can easily delete like the other ones. This is what's called a header. You can see in my settings for the page, here I have a name. I can rename the page. I'm just going to leave it as blog for now. But under here I have header type. And under this, I can click this drop down menu and I can say no header and it'll get rid of that. I personally like it with no header unless I have something to put there. So the difference between a standard page and a blog page is how it's laid out. A standard page, as you see, It's a blank slate. I can do almost anything on here, including delete that last part. Whereas a blog page, you see it has things about the author. I could write a little bio about myself. As I create posts, it's going to create a running list of archives for those posts. And if I tag categories in them, they'll also be listed here. So let's go back to the home page for 1 second here. One thing we want to do is give our website a title. So you've named it after yourself. Go ahead and click right here where the text is, and you can rename this as well and put your own name in. So that way, when we're in class and we're looking through the websites, we know whose portfolio we're looking at. Whenever you are trying to put images that you create up online, you want to make it simple for people to know whose work it is. You don't want to make it hard by trying to create some fancy name. You want to make sure that you put your actual name up there because you want to make it easy for people to find stuff when they're looking through your portfolio. Now you can see here on these pages, there's nothing here that has a thing that says drag element here. Elements are all these things on the left here. When we're on the build tab, we have things like a title, text, a single image, an image gallery, a slideshow, a map. We're not going to use maps in this class. A contact form for like a contact page, a newsletter form, buttons, embed code, which we will be using for our podcasts. There's also some structural elements like sections to make blank areas or dividers or spacers. And then we have some media. Now you see anything with this little lightning bolt, these are premium features that you would have to pay extra for. So we're not going to necessarily use these. We're going to use embedded features so you can use other sites to use it for free. You can also put a document up here. For our video, we're going to use YouTube links to put right in there. You can put it Flash and files on your website. E-commerce stuff we're not getting into, and some other things that are kind of outside the realm of this class. We might talk about social icons a little bit, but not necessary for what we're going to be doing. So to get any element here, say if I wanted to put a title here, all I need to do is drag the title element over, and then now I can click in here and say this is a title, and I have the options to make the text. I can make it bigger or smaller. I can make it bold or italicized or underlined. I can change the color. I can make it a hyperlink. I can change, maybe make it centered or left justified. I get a lot of options with this. And now if I want to make a paragraph underneath this, I can drag the text down. And I can start typing here. And once you have these things in here, they're not set in stone. You can move them around. As you notice, when I hover over an element, I get a blue border around it, which will allow me to click back into it to edit it. Or I can grab this handle in the middle here. I can reorder it. I can put one on top of the other. Or I could even bring it to the side and make it left-right. So that's how I can make columns and make different elements move around the page. Very handy and good things to know about. Now I'm going to actually close out of this site and open up one I've worked on in the past just to show you some more things that I already have done. Okay, so here's a website that I've also worked on this site, and I have a bunch of different elements in here already. You can see I have a photos page, a blog page, and a contact page. Now on my home page here, I have an embedded YouTube clip. So this is just really, I dragged that YouTube element over, and when you click on it, you can just paste the YouTube link right here, and that will populate it onto your website. Down here as well, this is an embed code. So this is a podcast I put here. I just drag the embed code link onto the site, and then click on it, and I can edit custom HTML and post that link right in there, and it'll show up as a podcast. Now once you create all these changes, nothing is live. No one can see this until you hit this blue button in the top right corner. So you can make all the edits you want on your website without anyone seeing it. When you want someone to see the changes, you need to hit the publish button. And now, once you've published it, it's going to be at this link. So it's going to show you the link on top, and you can just click on that and it'll bring you to the website and see what it looks like to the rest of the world. Now, it's very important when you're submitting links for homework and whatnot, make sure you're copying this link or the link from here. Do not copy the link that is right here. That's just the weebly.com/editor/main.php. Because when I click on that for your homework assignment, I'm just going to have my own link load and not yours. So you want to make sure you're copying the correct links. And if you want to go to a specific assignment or page, say when I click on the photos link, you'll see it now says /photos.html. So this would be a more direct link to a particular assignment. And once it's published, I can just X out of this. Now, if I want to post a blog, that's a little bit different. I'm going to go ahead and click on blog. Now on the blog page, we have to do something a little different to get it published. Because the blog page, like I mentioned earlier, is not exactly the same as a regular page. You see we have a series of things. And again, we have an archive over here so we can see what has happened in the past. Now, to create a blog post, instead of just dragging something over here from the element side, first we have to go to the bottom right and click on the blue New Post button. Once we do that, now we get a blank blog post. First we have a post title, so we can put our title here. And now we can drag our elements down, whether it's going to be text for our blog post, which you should definitely have in there, some kind of text. And then we can also bring in an image if we want to. And when you bring an image in, I'm doing a single image, and you can see I just brought the element over. Now I have to actually click on it to upload an image, and I can just drag an image right from my desktop, or I can say upload from my computer. So I'm just going to go to my desktop real quick and find an image. Here I uploaded a nice picture of the Edgerton Center. You can see it's uploading. It takes a minute. It has to convert it. And now there it is. And again, I can also do other things to it. As far as spacing, I can put a caption on it. I can add a border to a photo if I wanted to give it some depth on the website. So you have different options besides just putting it there. So now that I have the post done, whatever I want to add in there is there. Then on the top right, I simply hit the orange button that says post. Now if I wasn't done, I could hit the save button, and that way I can always edit more later. So if I'm not done with it now, I can save it for editing later. If I'm done with it, I'm good to go. And then I have a direct link right to my post. And there it is. There's my post. And as you notice, there's also the ability to share on Facebook and Twitter if you have those accounts linked up to your Weebly site. You can just X out of it afterwards. So now we have a new post. And again, if I had one saved, I come down to the drafts down here, and I can see I have some old posts that have been saved that I could go back and edit as well. One thing you want to make sure you always do is when you're done with any sort of edits and you post it, make sure you actually look at your website to see that it looks correct on there. Don't just trust that it worked. Many times people will submit their work and they never actually hit the publish button. So it's a good habit to always get into with website design, do the editing, publish it, and then go look at it to make sure it looks right. And sometimes it's also a good habit to look at it on more than one browser as well. Because maybe sometimes what works on Chrome doesn't work on Firefox or doesn't work on Safari or one or the other. So it's good to look at it in multiple browsers if you're doing complicated design layouts as well. Briefly, I'm going to go over these other things here at the top. So we went over build is this part on the left, pages where we can add more pages, and we will be adding more. Right now we just have our home page, and I added a photo and a blog page here. You also have a video page later on as well. If for some reason you get tired of the layout of your page, you can always change your theme. You can modify it, you can change it, you can change the fonts in the theme, you can do a bunch of different things to it. Under settings in the general area, we have, of course, our site address, so that's where our website is. and you can change that if you want to. And then you have site title. So site title, as you can see, that's what's going to show up here in the bar at the top of the screen. So if I want to draw attention to it, that's my site title. That's how you get it to show on there. I can have a site category. Mine's in portfolio right now. Fave icon, if you want to create an icon, that's what this little blue icon, the W, is on the corner of the tabs. You can change that to be a logo for your own website, and that's what's called a fave icon. We're not going to create a site password, but there are some other things you can look through here. One thing to look through on here on the left, SEO. Very briefly, this stands for Search Engine Optimization. And if you want Google and other search engines to be able to find your website better, the way to do that is by going through here and filling this out with a description of your website, some keywords. You can put some code in here as well, and this will help search engines find your site. And the only other setting you might want to play around with right now is the blog area, where you can change how the blog is viewed and some different things about it. You can turn off the ability for people to leave comments if you want to and things like that. So something just to take a look at. There is a support center for Weebly. You can go in here and you can, if you're curious about something, you're not sure how to do something, type it up in the search and see if someone has the answer for you so you don't have to struggle with it. And there's all sorts of categories for help with that. I'm also going to put in the description of this video a full Weebly tutorial that they have released that goes a little bit more in depth on different things about it. What I've done today is really just to help you get started with the website for the class. If you have any questions, please first try looking at through the help site and see if the answer is already out there. If you still have questions, please send me an email or bring your questions to class next week. I hope that this has been informative for you, and I can't wait to see your websites.